Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of On the Other Line Canada. Mr. Colton Phillips, you're first. You're all eyes this week and all eyes on the show. Colton, I hope you're having a great week. Mr. Scott Connolly, dude, I do not know how I can get involved in having as much fun as you have as a family, but I'll tell you what, anyone that isn't watching what Scott's doing, insane. Sally Mitchell, Sally, welcome to the show. I see Barry and yourself are having the cross-Canada trip, and I think that's just awesome. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we will run into you somewhere between here and Medicine Hat this weekend. We'll see what happens. Ryan Brown, welcome to the show. For anyone that missed it last week, it turns out about 20 minutes into our episode with Brad Fenson, Facebook decided to do whatever it does. So if you did miss the show last week, feel free to pop over to our YouTube channel, check it out. The episode with Brad was amazing, and I'm going to put him on the spot. Mitch, give me the thumbs up. Oh, he gave me a sideways thumbs up this week.
That's how the kids do it these days, you know, keeping it cool.
Is it like this or
one of these?
One of those?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this before we bring Chelsey in. I don't know if you saw the comment, so I felt bad that Facebook cut us off 20 minutes into the episode. Anyways, it's on YouTube. Wicked episode with Brad.
Oh, yeah.
I would be interested to see what you think because you have a lot more experience than I do. What if we had hunting month on the other line?
Yeah, that'd be, well, I guess we're booking up for August already, but September would be a good month to do it because that's kind of when everyone's firing up. Usually beginning September, most zones are open for archery. Then rifle opens up a little later. So that'd be a good month to do it probably.
Would you be wearing your camo, like your moss, or would you be in a tree stand? How would you approach that?
Well, we'll see. Because if I'm sheep hunting, maybe we can do it on top of a mountain.
Would you put on your tinfoil hat so we have service?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll just hold the tinfoil in a little disc. Then I'll just hold the phone like this and just be like Blair Witch Project kind of.
I should actually clarify before anyone holds me to this. I did say we, but by we, I meant you because I'll tell you what, I'm not climbing a mountain for sheep.
Well, we can get you in your home there.
Up in the mountains. I am Groot, man. I'm planted right here.
That's what helicopters are for.
This is true. Golden trout and sheep hunting.
Yeah.
Well, we will talk more about that. If anyone would be interested in us having hunting month, I know we've got some awesome guests this month that would be maybe interested. Maybe we'll get Brad back. I think it wouldn't be bad. I mean, it is on the other line. Doesn't mean it's everything fishing. Could be hunting and outdoors, right?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of great people that are hunting and fishing, so they'll have both aspects. Because half the time when you're on your hunting trip, you're fishing too. When you come back for lunch or something, you're hitting the little creek right beside camp.
Well, and actually, I've already got someone here that says she can shoot better than you, so maybe we'll have to have a shooting competition. Let's just bring her in. She's all smiles already. Chelsey, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Do you feel that you could outshoot Mitch in a shooting competition?
Well, after spending a day with Lisa Roper not too long ago, absolutely I can.
Oh, sounds like a shoot-off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shoot off, not a shootout. We'll keep it as friendly as possible.
Actually, maybe Aaron can take her on. Aaron's a crack shot with the 25-06, so.
Ooh.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
It's heating up.
Well, 500, 600 yards. She's hitting pumpkins on Thanksgiving weekend every weekend, so.
Does that ever scare you when you try to sneak off fishing without approval?
No, there's usually lots of trees and buildings in the way, so I can usually get the far enough distance away.
You're stealthy.
Yeah.
Okay, well. Chelsey says she can take you down, and I don't know. I saw the pictures, and she's got a pretty good coach. I think we can make this happen. I don't know what the laws and rules are on shooting as far as a show, but maybe we'll talk about that later.
We'll do that for your hunting month you want to do.
Hunting fish off, fish on, hunting hunt on, shoot on. I don't know. Lots of ideas. Chelsey, how's your fishing season been so far?
It's been phenomenal. It's been a little slow lately because, life just gets busy and it's not the best time to be fishing where I am right now. The rivers have been quite muddy and whatnot. And let's face it, lakeshore fishing isn't as fun. So it's been a little slow, but I think the last big kind of trip I had was my sturgeon fishing, and it kind of tops everything this whole year so far.
Was it your first time going for sturgeon?
It was my first time actually getting sturgeon. I had tried a couple trips before that. I had even a sturgeon on my line and it snapped my line. So I had a few devastating moments of losing sturgeon before I had a successful trip. It's
very frustrating. How many days did it take you to recover from reeling in sturgeon afterwards?
Quite a few. It was insane.
My shoulders were burning for a few days.
Yeah, I had like a spot in my stomach from where my rod was poking me so hard.
Did you measure it?
Yes.
How big?
The mark or the sturgeon?
The sturgeon.
It was 40.
I should be a little bit clearer.
But yeah, it was a 46-inch sturgeon was my big one, and I caught around 10 of them, and I even got like the little itty-bitty ones, so it was pretty cool.
Wow, that is amazing. Sally's asking if there is a special way to fish sturgeon. Do you have any secret tips that you're willing to reveal?
Well, I used a pickerel rig with worms. Just simple as that. I think I was one of the only ones in my group that used a pickerel rig, and it was a success. So they love a big ball of worms is what I find. And my success was nighttime. We all had our headlamps and showed up at our spot around 8 or 9 and fished into the morning. And that's when they came out the best.
Isn't that fun? Fish till 5, 6 in the morning, sleep all day, and then come back and do it again.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did, and set up tents on the beach and slept while the sun was out and waited till it got dark again.
I am such a diva. We went sturgeon fishing, and Adam stayed on shore and watched our gear while I went back to the hotel and slept.
Oh, no. You're one of those?
That's me. Didn't even feel bad. What's your personal best, Mitch? I know I've probably asked you before, but I'm forgetful. Yeah.
Oh,
do you know?
Big. It was like probably somewhere in there.
So like 70, 80 inches then.
At least. Maybe 20, 24. It wasn't very big. I caught a bunch of them. I met up with Adam down south there for our first time. Erin lost a hog, and she's very upset about it still to this day. It just came up, started tail walking, and then it was off, and she was frustrated. She gets pretty frustrated when she loses big fish.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't get frustrated. Chelsey, what about you? Do you get frustrated when you're losing fish?
Oh, big time. And one of the sturgeon that I ended up losing, actually, like, I didn't realize they jump up and kind of do a little spin or whatever, and it did it right in front of me and got off the hook, and it was devastating. It's really hard to get over.
Now, I don't know about you, but I find myself doing this when I lose a fish. It was the largest fish I've ever caught for that species. Like, it was so big, you don't even realize how big it was because I lost it. Sounds legit.
Yeah, for sure.
Good Todd story.
It is a good Todd story. I mean, I've lost my biggest fish. Bigger fish than you have ever even imagined.
I haven't even seen.
I call it a quick release.
Yeah, well, it's for the fish. You don't need those pictures on those PBs.
No, not at all. I'd be interested to see, Chelsey, what your thoughts are about fishing in all this hot weather we're having.
Oh, well, I've been trying to fish in this hot weather. I went out to a couple local spots like Dixon Dam and tried in the evening when it got cooler, and nothing. I got skunked and I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's tough. I haven't been fishing hot water a lot. I saw an article the other day saying about, don't be a hero. You're going to take pictures of fish that you're probably not going to look at again, get them released. Our river here, the bow is blown out again this week, so I haven't even bothered fishing it. I'm just kind of over it. Mitch, what's it been like? I know you were out last weekend, right?
Last weekend, I was out this weekend too. This weekend was more just chilling, camping. We floated down a nice little creek. Right now, just focus on those spring-fed creeks because you're not going to get that big runoff. And since it's spring-fed, you're not getting that mountain runoff. And your fish are going to be much more on their regular bite. But there are streams out west right now that are just high. They're high and clear. Some clear up more than others. I know a bunch are blowing out, but if you get to those creeks, you can fish them. It's high. The water temperature is going to be still good on those higher creeks because it's still getting that mountain runoff, but still handle with care.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the majority of the heat streak is over, but I guess who knows? We'll see what Mother Nature has to throw her away.
Yeah, well, I've even seen like people posting on the Facebook groups about the fish just floating up dead, can't handle the heat, and I went and visited the trout hatchery kind of out by Caroline and Sundry a couple days ago because I'm like, well, if I can't fish, I might as well go look at some nice fish. And they had beautiful rainbow trout there that were just huge, and there was a couple of them that were just belly up dead because the heat just scorched them, and it broke my heart.
Yeah. Now, actually, it's funny you bring that up because I've never been to a hatchery. So, what was that like? Is that open to the public? What's the protocol right now for that, Chelsey?
Yeah, as of right now, it is open to the public, and I actually went to one a few months ago in the Kootenays for the first time, and it was kind of more like cement blocks with the fish in it, and it was closed because of COVID, so couldn't really do a whole lot there. But the one here, this was the Raven River Hatchery, and it's all outside in beautiful forest and little walking paths, and you can see the massive trout, and you put your fingers in it and you can see them bite. So it's actually in my upcoming YouTube segment this Thursday is I'll be at the hatchery. So I filmed a lot out there, which was cool.
That's amazing. Yeah, I saw your post today where you're talking about Women's Fishing Network and how you're doing Thursday segments. What got you into Women's Fishing Network, and what brought that on, or even how are you enjoying it?
Yeah, for sure. I had a friend kind of reach out to me who knew the guy who kind of started the Women's Fishing Network back in January or so, and seeing that I was loving fishing and spending a lot of time doing it, and said, hey, Chelsey, I think you would be great at this. Why don't you shoot this guy a message and look into it? So I kind of jumped on the opportunity, and he offered me a spot once a week. And I think I just did my 13th episode. So every Thursday I kind of do it, and I like it because I'm not an expert. I'm a brand new kind of fisherwoman that's out there trying the sport, and I'm not afraid to show my mistakes along the way. And I think that's kind of why people enjoy it, right? Because it can kind of be intimidating coming into this male-dominated sport.
It's funny you said fisher women. Now, I am not trying to sound ignorant here whatsoever. You bring up about male dominated and how we've always said fishermen. Look, there's fishermen. Oh, you're a fisherman.
Yeah.
Is that what we call it? Because I'll tell you what, I'm very awkward this way. I'll be like, hey, there's a fisher lady over there. Like, is there a general term or a wrong way or a right way to say it? Because obviously, I mean, fisherman is very gender driven towards men for all these years, right?
Yeah, well, there's so many different hashtags out there. I go by fisherwoman because I consider myself an apprentice fisherwoman, but there's also a lot of people like to be called lady anglers, I suppose. So
I like that.
too?
I believe Marcy goes by person that outfishes you. So that's just how she goes. She loves her bragging right. So I'll have to ask her after the show what she prefers, but who knows? Maybe she'll go through a name change.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had a comment on there today. For anyone that doesn't have Chelsey on Facebook or doesn't follow her, I really love your message. And I know we talked about this before the show. Now, let me just find it so I don't get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, without resorting to bikinis and booty shorts for clickbait.
Yes, exactly.
Now, I did confess to you in private, and I know nobody's watching right now. I've worn booty shorts, and I haven't had any extra clicks. What is the most important part for you of being able to educate really the fishing world as to how really sex sells? I mean, we see it all the time, right? Instagram is famous for it. You get a girl in a bikini holding a fish, and she's got 10,000 likes, and it's very motivated that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I've seen a lot of that, but as you guys could probably tell too, I fish with a lot of men. I don't fish with a lot of women. So it's been a little different for me. They don't bring me on these trips because I'm wearing a bikini or booty shorts. I'm actually in love with the sport, and they like to see a woman actually enjoying it and looking forward to fishing and teaching her, right? My friends, they consider me their little prodigy, right? Because I'm not out there catching little tiny fish in my bikini. I'm out there catching beautiful, massive bull trout in a, rain suit and a toque. So that's kind of what I'm proud of, is that's what my fishing has always been about.
Right. And not to pry too much, obviously, in your private life, but I would be interested to know, how often do you get trolled from people because they see you're a woman that fishes, so instantly they get, the idea that, hey, this is an opportunity for me to just be a creep. Do you get that a lot?
I do, actually, yes. And I am a single woman, so I think that word has kind of got out there, and I've gotten quite the interesting messages, about me fishing and whatnot, and a lot of interesting friend requests. So, yeah, I do get that a lot, but I just kind of laugh it off.
If you want to send us some names, addresses, and contact details, we will start a group to just track these offenders down. I know shows like that seem to do really well.
Yeah.
For a lot of women that are trying to get into the sport and not necessarily make a name for themselves, but enjoy it, what kind of tips or feedback would you be able to give on how you deal with it? Because obviously you do your best to just ignore it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I do just ignore it. And I just got to remember I'm here to fish, and that's what it's all about. And I'm showing off my fish, nothing else. And you just kind of shake those people off and think, whatever,
It's funny because when you think about it, it is a form of bullying that isn't policed very well, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
For sure. But you know what? At the same time, I've also made some really great connections with people that have reached out to me, especially men, but they've reached out to me in a respectful manner and have given me tips and have offered to help me with different things, and it's just a different vibe from them. I can tell that they respect me as a fisherwoman, and they're not looking at anything else but to help me in this fishing world.
Yeah. Do you know roughly, how many women are involved in Women's Fishing Network? Is it a relatively large group? I haven't researched it, to be brutally honest with you.
No, right now it's a very small group, and we're trying to get, as of right now, we only have 2 steady hosts. We're trying to get 7, one every day of the week, kind of from all over the world. So it's a big commitment. It doesn't sound like a lot once a week. So it's been really hard to keep people on board with that commitment once a week. And we have quite a bit of sponsorships lined up. So we have no choice but to make these segments on time and not slack.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there some place, for any women that are maybe interested in checking that opportunity and helping the Women's Fishing Network grow, that they could reach out to you or anyone in specific?
Yeah, for sure. Reach out to me and find the Women's Fishing Network on Instagram, Facebook, and it's through this man named Rick who kind of put the Women's Fishing Network together because he was sick of seeing the booty shorts and all that kind of stuff and wanted to empower women to enter this fishing world. So that's kind of where it came from. I mean, he's from a company called Goes to 11 Media. So he does a couple different things. Like he has a Vice Squad and a coffee channel and all these different things. So this is kind of one of his little projects we're trying to help him really grow.
I mean, I think it's amazing for someone to take on that initiative, and that's, I mean, how else can I put it but amazing to know that there's someone out there just willing to push that out there and get it out. So good on you guys for getting that going.
Yeah, it is. And it's quite funny because we have, I don't know, there's probably at least 30 Women's Fishing Network episodes right now up on the YouTube channel. And out of all of the videos, and there's some pretty amazing fish on there, the one that has the most views is the one where I get skunked and I accidentally hook my own butt with a fish hook. So, I think it just goes to show that people aren't just there looking for women doing whatever. They're just kind of interested in the story and watching me learn how to fish. And it's not intimidating to other people.
Was it a treble or a single hook?
It was a freaking treble.
Trip to the hospital, or did you just...
No, it just went in my pants, luckily. So
okay, good.
But it was all on video, so it was...
I will check that out.
It made a good episode.
Dana's on here saying Natalie up north is a young female YouTuber that's all about fishing. Well, Dana, I mean, anyone that hasn't checked her out on YouTube, check it out. Maybe she'd be interested in Women's Fishing Network.
Absolutely.
It's all... Go ahead, Mitch.
Is that Dana White?
Dana White? Dana Olson. Same Dana, different last name. Maybe they're related. I mean, who knows? Would Erin be interested in something like that, Mitch? I mean, I know she fishes better than you. Apparently, she hunts better than you, outshoots you.
She doesn't hunt, but she can shoot a pumpkin pretty good. But she doesn't like screen time, so...
I know somebody like that, and I am trying to convince her to get on the show. So maybe we can just have Marcy and Erin take over the show for a couple weeks, and you and I'll go sheep hunting.
Or we can just go to a fly-in lodge end of August.
Yes, that. Yeah, I knew you were going to put me on the spot with that. I feel really awkward and really sweaty at the same time. We'll talk about that after the show. I can tell you right now, with hail season already here, it's probably going to be impossible, but who knows? Weirder things have happened. Are you doing the fly-in?
Yeah, I was just talking to them today, actually, and me and Erin are going to go up. So
amazing.
I think he was saying there's 4 more spots we can fill with Brad and them. So he's going to talk to Brad, make sure Brad doesn't have too many more people. We're running out of spots.
We'll talk about it. Chelsey, have you done a fly-in yet?
I have not, no, but I've heard about them, and it's definitely on my bucket list to do for sure.
Yeah, Mitch, if you go, you might have to go back to being the third wheel. I mean, I guess we can kind of, talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I don't know if actually, I think it works around the Tuesdays. I think I looked at it today. So
we'll see what happens. Adam and I are still owed a trip to Manitoba, so I guess we'll see what happens there.
March Madness.
Chelsey, what is the furthest you are willing to go for an opportunity to catch big fish? Do you have a limit?
Obviously, no, I don't have a limit, and I never in my life thought I would go outside in -40 to do something like fishing. It kind of shocked my family this winter when I spent every moment I had outside, no matter how cold it was. So me and my friends have been talking about doing a trip next winter, taking the winter road up past Fort Chip to, Lake Athabasca. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to and hoping will happen.
Would you rather be ice fishing or open water?
Oh, you know what? I hate winter. I do, but I love ice fishing. I don't know. And I've never spent any time fishing on a boat, really. I don't have much experience with that, so I don't know if I would love that. But I just do love casting too. There's something just peaceful about it. So
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm really wavering about the whole situation right now. I've always said, open water comes in, you're counting down to ice fishing season, and then ice fishing season's here, and you're counting down to open water. So
I know it's hard to say, right?
I'll take open water all day.
Would you? Yeah. And I've never fly fished. I think I've talked to you guys about that, how intimidating it is to me. But with the Women's Fishing Network, we got a partnership with Forge Fly Fishing. So they are sponsoring me for fly fishing gear. So I have no choice but to try. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to go embark on this and maybe make a couple funny episodes of how hilarious it is to learn fly fishing from spin casting.
what are you worried about is going to be the most intimidating part for you as far as fly fishing goes? Because I have all the gear. I'm the first to admit I'll drift it. When it comes to casting and technique, I'm garbage. What are you looking forward to or not looking forward to?
I guess I'm just worried about balling everything up and getting it all knotted and just not knowing the technique of what to do because I barely have the spin casting technique down.
Yeah. Mitch, I know I can just tell you're rubbing your hands. You've got something to say on this topic. I know you do.
Yeah, say it, man.
No, there's it's all about patience when you first start, for sure. You just have to have the proper form, keep a solid wrist, like 9 and 12 pretty much. You don't want to get that back too far. You don't want it way back here. You're going to do 9, then 12, then you're going to hold it and wait for that to preload behind you. Then once you feel it, you're just going to kick her forward. And it's just preloading pretty much back and forth. And I think I'll be doing a show in September long, west of Edmonton. The Adventure Expo, I believe it's called. And you can camp out there. There's trout ponds and stuff. We're just kind of finalizing everything right now, but I'll be doing demos and whatnot there too.
Ooh, I'll be sure to tune into that.
That's super cool. Hey, I wouldn't mind doing a show from there. I think that would be even cooler. Mitch, I feel like it was you that had the tip because I'm like, that's such an awesome idea. I'm going to do that, and then never did it. About practicing in your backyard with, was it you?
Yeah, thick floss.
That's what it was.
Half inch to 5/8. You can get at Michelle's, any craft spot, and just tie it on ice fishing rod. You can do it in your house in the basement. When I was a kid, that's what I did. When I was watching fishing, you just cast at the TV, and it just gets you that motion going. It's enough resistance, so it's just giving it just like practicing all day.
Right. I remember now you said you had a river runs through it on the TV while you were practicing, right?
Yeah, I have it on DVD, so I'm kind of a big deal. I don't know if you know that, but
I mean, I had an idea. Chelsey, when are you planning on starting? When are you going to have your gear and stuff? Is this coming up soon with your new episodes?
Yeah, it is. Hopefully within the next couple weeks here. And luckily I am in Lacombe, so I have the Len Thompson trout pond literally in my backyard. So I have that to practice on, and a field, like Mitch said, or backyard,
Well, maybe we can get Erin out there. She doesn't like to be taught by me for fly fishing. We had this once on a grayling stream. But maybe if there's 2 of you, it'll be easier.
Yeah, I love that idea, for sure.
You can't yell at me in front of a crowd.
No, and 2 against 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd personally love to see her yell at you in front of a crowd. I mean, that's just me.
I don't like it, so it's not cool.
I guess my big thing with fly fishing, and Chelsey, I'm not saying this to get in your head. I always worry about what other people are going to think about. They're going to be like, look at this guy. He doesn't have a clue what he is doing. And I've had that before. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see how it works out for you. You'll probably have to give me some lessons.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll have to follow along my fly fishing journey.
Done deal. Mitch has tried to teach me before, but I can tell you what, it didn't work.
No, if it's anything like opening tackle boxes in the boat, that's a horrible idea.
Yes, it is a mess. I still have the pictures to prove that. Mitch, if you were to guess right now, once Chelsey gets this sorted out with her fly fishing, do you think or do you feel that most people that try it and get into it actually would prefer to fly fish over spin cast?
I prefer fly fishing a lot of different rivers and stuff, just depending on the species. Like if you're getting into pike and everything, you have so many different rods. Like when I'm fishing smaller trout, like 14-inch and lower, I'll use my 3-weight. Then you go from 14-inch up to like 18, 22, 4 to 5 weight. Then you get into pike, it's 7 to 8. Then you go into your salmon, it's 9 to 11 or something, and you can go into a spay rod. But yeah, there's so many different aspects of it. So usually a good starter rod's your 4 to 5 for in central Alberta.
Yeah. I'm actually, so Erin is on here. Now I'm not sure if she says let's do it. So it could be let's do it fly fishing or let's do it yell at Mitch. I'm going to assume it's yell at Mitch, but let's just go off and assume that it's fly fishing. If the two of you get together for fly fishing, I know she's watching. I'm going to put her on the spot as well. Marcy refuses to try. So if you women get set up to fly fish, Mitch and I will go do whatever. We won't even stand there. And the 3 of you or 4 of you, or maybe a women's fly fishing day at a lake, and let's get Marcy hooked too, because I know she'll enjoy it, and it'll just be another thing that she'll be better at than me. So
Totally. Girls' Day, fly fishing.
Done deal.
I have a good river we could do it on, big cutthroats, and it's wide open. There's nothing behind you. As long as it's not windy, it's awesome spot to learn. I've taken a few different clients there, and it's just always been spectacular. A lot of PBs.
Oh, I haven't got a cutthroat yet. That is on my bucket list.
Mitch has been known to catch a couple. Just a couple. I mean, they're not huge. They're okay.
Yeah, they're okay.
There you go. Women's Fishing Day.
Yeah, Women's Fishing Day to kick off the month of July. We're going to plan it up. Get ready.
Why not? I think that would be awesome. The only problem is it means I would have to buy 2 and 3 times of everything for fly fishing gear like I have spin gear, which I'm fine with. I'll keep buying fishing gear, no problem. Kevin's in as well, which, I mean, we'll leave that open to interpretation. Colton Phillips says he wants to bring his wife. Erin is calling Marcy out. She's not really calling Marcy out, but I'm going to say Erin is calling Marcy out. So, I mean, it could be a little bit of a battle here. One of the things I really enjoyed that you did here a couple weeks ago is you went on a little bit of a shooting experience with next week's guest, Lisa Roper. What was that like for you?
It was a blast. It was a ladies only day, and we just had so much fun. And there's just something different about being with a group of ladies with no men around and, you know, telling us how to do stuff. It's just, we got to learn from 2 women just like us, and it was, yeah, very empowering, and it felt good.
That's amazing. I have to ask, do you call it mansplaining? I hear that term a lot.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
No?
No.
I've heard it a few times, so I don't know. I'm just saying. Mitch, do you mansplain a lot?
Never heard of her.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's funny you say that because I am guilty of that exact thing. Same thing. When Marcy and I go to do stuff, I find myself, and I don't understand why, always trying to explain to her, and I get the look of, I know what I'm doing. You don't need to explain it.
Yeah.
I need to do better.
I don't know if that's mansplaining or just, hey, kind of had enough of you right now. Maybe take a step back.
Yeah, well, it was kind of cool because me and Lisa Roper met last summer at a ladies shooting range day, and it was my first time ever attending something like that. So I kind of researched all the special guests that were going to be there, and I researched Lisa Roper, and I literally fell in love with her. I was like, she is so cool. I want to be just like her. I just was fascinated by what she was doing as a woman. And we had some really great conversations at the event we were at. And we just happened to remain in contact over social media and texting and whatnot. And a couple weeks ago, she invited me out on a ladies fishing day, and she brought her boat out. We went to Gull Lake, and she taught us how to fillet a pike, how to properly rig up different hooks, all the basics that sometimes we don't have a clue how to do. And it was just women, and we had so much fun.
That sounds amazing. I mean, I think anyone that's in the forefront that knows Lisa or follows Lisa knows that she's a pioneer of the fishing world, and I mean hunting too, right? Yeah. What would your thoughts be if, do you think that this is something that could possibly grow and have more women's outing days and stuff like that for fishing, shooting, hunting, any outdoor experience like that?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. All the women that attended this little day just loved it and wanted to share it all with their friends. And then Lisa arranged another shooting day a couple of weeks ago that we did with Deneen from Lady Guns, and she just wants to keep spreading that all over and sharing that us as women can do it.
So I'm just wondering, can I put you down as one of the questions for next week that you just explained that you're a better shot than Lisa Roper is?
I did not say that.
I don't know. That's what I heard.
But, and that's the thing, is connecting with her, even though it was almost a year since we've seen each other, she remembered the guns that I used last year and said, wow, Chelsey, you've come so far already. You're already more comfortable, for her to notice that in me was just probably one of the most special moments ever.
That's pretty amazing.
Lisa's a great person. I've met her a few times at different shows and stuff, and we've done a couple things at Bass Pro, and just a great ambassador to the sport and women's outdoors for sure.
She really is. And I'm proud of you ladies for doing everything you can to bring awareness to that, because I am a firm believer that there's not enough of it out there.
No, that's right. So stay tuned, because there's going to be more coming. We're very excited, and hopefully the word will spread even more now in July that it's Women's Fishing Month.
It is Women's Fishing Month, and I did show you this before. Mitch, you were on the show as well. So with it being Women's Fishing Month, we have a sponsor, and I have all of his gear here. And I'll tell you what, he sent me a lot of gear. We will have to talk about the competition we're going to do for July. But Andrew over at Canadian Fishing Outfitters, check this out. I got a whole bunch of swag from Andrew. Andrew, thank you so much. Anyone that doesn't know who Canadian Fishing Outfitters is, you guys should really check them out. See him on TV, all kinds of stuff. I think one of my favorite tiger trout episodes is with Andrew. What'd you say, Mitch?
Oh, nothing. Just saying it right, but no big
How do you pronounce it, Chelsey?
Tiger trout?
Yeah, see, I think Chelsey and I have it right.
I don't know. Sounds weird.
It's T-I, not T-A, bud.
No, man. It's like Pelos.
Ooh. You know what? I'll have to get Marcy on the show one day, because no one pronounces that stuff better than she does. I am a very lazy speech type person. There we go. All right, we got a purple one. It looks blue on the screen, but so yeah, well, I guess we'll have to have a little competition over that stuff. Andrew, thank you so much. Canadian Fishing Outfitters, you're our July sponsor. That's awesome.
Yeah,
are you sure it's
one? Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but even though I fish with a bunch of men, I have everything pink. My tackle box is pink. My fishing rod's pink. My clothes are pink. And they all make fun of me, and I don't care, you know? And when I went sturgeon fishing, they all came with these massive, big, macho sturgeon rods, and I came with my little pink rod, and they all make fun of it and call it Pinky, and I got my 46-inch sturgeon on it, so they were laughing.
No, I mean, explain this to me. Are we talking like the kid's rod with the little push button reel, or is it like a full size?
It's like a real adult pink rod.
And if I was to guess, they probably weren't calling it names after you reeled in a fish like that.
No, it shut them up pretty quick. That's for sure.
I can imagine. In all honesty, pink, my luckiest fishing jersey is pink. And it's the women's breast cancer jersey from Fish Whipped Apparel. It's my favorite one. It's in our trailer. That's the one I wear all the time.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Well, and this guy that I ended up talking with when I was sturgeon fishing, this stranger started laughing at my rod too. And I'm like, why is everybody laughing at it? Like, it got a sturgeon. And he goes, well, what do you have on there? And I'm like, well, I got 50-pound braid. And he's like, that's not a fishing rod, that's a wench. So, it's pretty funny. It works though.
See, even Kit saying on here, his tackle box is pink and purple. Here's why I like bright colors. I lose stuff all the time. If it blends in, man, it's staying behind. Someone's going to have a new toy or tool or gear that just blended in with the shore that I forgot. So maybe everything should go neon.
Yep, absolutely.
Mitch, you'd look good in neon.
No. It's just too flashy for me. I just can't handle the attention.
Well, when you're fishing with a bunch of guys and all your stuff is pink, they can't steal anything, right? Because that's one of the worst things fishing that I can't stand is that I have my little organization of scissors, a tape measure, and pliers. And when someone gets a fish on and all havoc breaks loose, my stuff is gone. So if it's pink, I know who has it.
That's a good idea.
I'm going to disagree with you. The day that comes that we fish, if you leave your stuff laying around, I don't care if it's neon green. I'm stealing it, girl. I don't even care. It's gone. I need to recuperate the money I've lost in gear from leaving it behind, and I think that's how I'm going to do it. So bring extra tools. That's all I can say.
Why are you robbing people now, Todd?
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt really aggressive there for a second. Sorry, Chelsey. That's not personal. It's not directed at you.
That's okay. I even put my name on some of my stuff because it goes missing. So don't worry.
I could put my name and tracking tags on it. I'm still going to lose it. Some of my best friends have got their best gear from things I leave behind. Just ask Jeremy Mortensen.
Oh.
Mitch is having a good chuckle about that.
Yeah.
So, Chelsey, talking about tackle, I'd be interested to see what you think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I am better at remembering what I caught a fish on than I am at remembering someone's birthday. Are you the same or are you the opposite?
No, I'm the opposite, and that must be like some weird fisherman thing because all my guy friends too, like they know their friends' personal bests. And I'm like, how do you remember your friends? Like, it's one thing to remember your own personal best, right? And what it was caught on, it's just, I don't really pay attention.
Mitch?
Yeah, I know every hook, depth, temperature, lake, time of the season. And then I just have like family birthdays and like my best friend pretty much. And Aaron, my best friend. And that's all I got, man. My head is just boggled about.
Dude, you backpedaled on that one so hard. I was waiting for it to happen. I'm like, oh, here we go. And I'm like, hey, Mitch, Aaron's watching tonight. So for anyone that hears the click in the background, that's Aaron loading a gun, not taking a picture on her phone. Scary. What's your favorite go-to tackle right now, Chelsey? Anything in particular?
Right now, one of my big sponsors is Lucky Bug Lures, so I've been using a lot of that, and the crankbaits, things like that. I've never really used crankbaits, and I have a lot of trouble with them because of the trebles on them, and it's quite entertaining how I get them stuck on absolutely everything. And then, of course, you know, a good old spoon and spinner, things like that. I like simple things, although I did try this like massive pike bomb lure, and it was the biggest lure I ever tried from Lucky Bug Lures. So that was kind of interesting to try. But I get them stuck a lot, so it's kind of, I don't like losing lures. I've lost a lot.
I mean, learning a lot of that stuff is the most expensive part. I explain this to Marcy all the time. Don't be upset over the lures you lose because it's all part of the learning experience, except for the fact that they're $11, $12, $13, $14 a piece. But hey, who's counting, right? I don't know what to say.
I don't really feel bad about losing $12 or $13 lures anymore. When a couple weeks ago I was fishing on the Clearwater River all by myself, making an episode, all proud of myself because I was an independent woman out fishing by myself. And as I went to cast on video, I hooked into my tripod and flung my cell phone right into the river.
Oh, no.
So the only good thing about that was I was alone, so nobody could see it. I had a net and tried netting it out, but it's still at the bottom of the river.
Oh, no.
So yeah, I do lots of funny things like that out learning. So now I'm very careful. I managed to save my tripod, so I'm very careful with my tripod now.
And that is an expensive lesson to learn, isn't it? Because phones are not cheap.
No, it's not. And I was making an episode, so I lost all my footage. I lost so many photos. So.
Oh, no.
And I got skunked.
That just adds to it.
Yeah, it was a pretty sad day, but it is what it is.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. We've launched Women's Month here, and we're already starting husband and wife feuds. We got Barbie accusing Clayton of losing gear that was hers, and Clayton, you know, more or less trying to say, let's not talk about it anymore.
Are they fighting about the net? Because they're supposed to come get it tomorrow night.
The net has not been mentioned, which is ironic to me.
Yeah. Clayton sent me a message today. Barbie wants her net back.
Oh, it's Barbie's net.
I guess it is. So
wow, that's not what Clayton told me. He said it was his. So I don't know. Just saying. Sorry, Barbie. We might have to have marriage wars on the show. I'm not sure how that works. Is there anyone that fishes that is also a therapist? Because I think we have a long list of clients coming your way.
Time.
Including Mitch on his late save. Sorry, Mitch.
The angler's mind. We need that person, whoever that is.
The angler's mind.
There we go.
It's quite possible. Chelsey, any trips upcoming?
Let me see. I got one planned on the Bow River. It's a ladies only overnight trip with Mike Robertson. And then where is it? Somewhere down by Black Diamond. I'm going to be filming a really cool episode. So those are kind of my two big trips coming up.
Oh, super cool. I love the Black Diamond area. That's really nice down there. We're just at Chain Lakes this weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got a nice little secret spot down there that I'm very excited to go to.
Oh, send me a pin and I'll see if I know where that spot is.
Yeah, I'll right away.
When you go down there, let me know. We'll chat after the show about that.
Yeah.
For anyone that didn't see, I caught a pike where a pike didn't belong, which I thought was really cool. I know people aren't usually a big fan of pike, but whatever. So we'll just share spots. So you send me that spot, and then I'll send you one back.
Yeah, I will do that. You know, and it's quite funny to see fishermen argue or defend their sacred honey holes. I mean, coming into the fishing world when I first started fishing, like before I was really serious, I would post, photos thinking it's so cool and put exactly where it was. And my friends would be like, what are you doing? Like, don't post it. And I'm like, oh, relax. Like, it's not a big deal. And now I see how serious it is. And it's quite serious.
I know we talk about this a lot on the show. Interested to hear your take on that topic when you're seeing a lot of this drama unfold online. What is your stance? Like, we've had people like Gord Pfizer say, hey man, you leave your electronics at home. They're not coming in the boat. Do you get pretty upset when stuff like that happens, or do you seem to have that I don't care attitude and just continue on?
Yeah, I kind of do, but I kind of, I expect respect from people. If we're going to be going with a group of people and we share a spot with them, maybe the next time they'll share a spot with us. It's give a little, take a little, and it really depends who it is. And there's nothing worse than when you see a friend out there with other friends and they didn't tell you about it and they're at your spot, right? But I think as long as you're sharing what you're doing and being honest about it, then it's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Mitch, and you and I have talked about this as well. Really, any information you need for anybody's spot is in every book, every online article, every, Google map you want to look at, so on and so forth, right?
It is. Yeah. And that's kind of what I learned. I kind of laughed about it at first when the guys were like, don't give our spots up, blah, blah, blah. But then I sit around with them and before we're going on a fishing trip, we're all watching YouTube and looking at the depth charts on Google and looking at all these different things. We're researching ourselves and going and finding these spots and spending 2 or 3 days sometimes getting skunked just to get one awesome fish. So I understand why you don't want to give up your spot because we worked hard for it.
Yeah, it's hard in Alberta. Like the pressure, we don't have the Lakes Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, even BC has. We have so much population in such a small area without the lakes or rivers. You have to pretty much keep it pretty tight because you can ruin your perfect area that you like going to with friends and family just by doing a little slip, and you got a ton of people there.
Yeah. And I think people that aren't in the fishing world either don't really get that too, right? People see our photos on Facebook and they're like, oh my gosh, take me there. Oh, I want to fish for that. And it's like, no. I spent 3 days trudging through mud and snow just to get that fish. I'm not just going to take you there.
Yeah.
It's funny when you think about it, how people just assume fishing is so easy. Isn't that the truth? It's
so true.
Yeah. I had it 2 weeks ago on that big pike and all the whitefish me and Dad got, and this person just went off. They're like, why don't you share it? Why don't you share it? Why can't you tell us where you are? And that person was angry as possible. And it's a Central Alberta lake. I'll say it's a Central Alberta lake. There's only four or five of them. So you can go and do your research, but I'm not going to tell you like the exact points. I'm going to tell you how to fish those areas and what depth and what to look for. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I'm fishing. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Mitch, very well from, the experience guiding is that, it's a business, right? It at the end of the day, it's a business as well. And you can't just make everything public. If you want to find it, you need to hunt for it.
Yeah, even with this year, I've taken my numbers down quite a bit just because how busy I am at my main job. And I've been helping out with some other friends fill in their books. So that might be a little slower, but I'm not giving away stuff for free. Like you come on a fishing trip, I'm going to show you what to use. I'm going to show you the spots to fish. I'm going to show you on the sonar, like the structures you want to sit on. That's what you gain from a guide. You're going to get the knowledge so you can go to a different lake and attack it the same way we did. So you can advance your fishing when you go to different lakes, different bodies of waters. It's just education, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Chelsey, I'm interested to know when you're fishing. I know you mentioned a lot of different techniques you use. Are you the type of person that will change gear multiple times until you find something you're happy with, or will you just tough it out?
No, I usually change it up. Most guides that I've been with and lessons I've been on, they say don't use one thing too long because you got to change up your presentation. But then at the same time, sometimes I do have really cool lures that I'm determined to get a fish on, and I'll fish with it probably longer than I should. But
I change all the time.
do you? See, and before I didn't like changing because I couldn't tie my own knots. I couldn't do anything. So I always had to have my friends do it. But now that I'm becoming more independent and I can finally tie my own knots, it's not so much work, and it's kind of fun for me to change things up.
I think that's Marcy's next step, because the problem we have right now is she uses what I tell her, and that's not necessarily the way I should go about teaching people how to fish. I'm going to admit I'm not perfect. Mitch, you shake your head at me all you want, okay? You can still go back to the third wheel. That's twice I've promised that. Do you let Erin pick her hooks?
Who, Erin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's a machine. She just gets that hook and then just catches fish.
This is awesome. I just realized I'm becoming probably the number one sexist man in fishing. So thanks, Chelsey. I really appreciate you for pointing that out. Are you a therapist by trade? Because I kind of feel like maybe we've gotten somewhere in the growth of my mentality of teaching my best friend how to fish.
Oh, we'll be chatting after. Don't worry.
No, Erin, like, I'll help her with different things, just on the different bodies of water, because you're always fishing different what they're feeding on, right? Because you could be shiners, stickleback, you can have damselflies, you can be on leeches. So all the different color patterns between the different times of year, you're just gonna take what they're feeding on most. So that's what we're gonna target. And once you get that education, you can do it more. So you're still gonna have to help.
Yes, and that's the thing too, as a new fisherwoman, is there are so many different lures and so many different things. It's overwhelming. I don't know what I'm supposed to use for what. And I know Mitch has brought this up as a topic that, there should be some sort of course when you get a fishing license on teaching things, because how else are you supposed to learn, right? And I know there's the book, and I read the book a lot, but it also can be very confusing, especially the bait rules. The bait is one thing that I'm so stressed about all the time, because
yes,
big fines. But even like on one river, you can use bait on a certain part of the river, but not that part. So how do you keep track of it all? It's so overwhelming.
So with your experience, Chelsey, then really getting into the sport, like, obviously you didn't start yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that there would be an advantage for something along the lines of like a hunter education course where, maybe better education of people experiencing and getting into fishing could actually prolong, the resource itself by that education component?
Oh, 100%. Like that would be a dream to have that. I think it would be a positive thing in a lot of ways. And, for us that kind of take serious or fishing a little more serious, it's very frustrating when these yahoos come out and we follow the rules and we try so hard. And yeah, I wish there was something like that for sure.
Maybe Mitch and I have a long list of things to march on the parliament about here, but maybe there is something to that, because hunter education is obviously important when, especially from the gun safety aspect, but maybe it has to go back to the education of the people getting into the sport with a lot of the issues that we're having from poaching. I get probably 3 or 4 questions a week from people going, oh, hey, what's the regulation here? And not really even knowing or understanding the regulations, like bait bans and stuff, you said.
Yes, yeah.
Mitch is just, are you vibrating or?
Yeah, no, we were at Glenifer the other day, probably a month ago at least. I was fishing with a buddy, and we're just walking back, and there's this guy got this brown, and he's like, I got this lake trout. And I'm like, pardon? Yeah, I got this lake trout. Can we keep it? It's already bonked and on the rope.
Oh,
But in the lake, you can keep 2 trout, which are browns. But it's just like,
you had no clue.
what the heck are you doing, man? Like, can we keep it? It's floating upside down on your rope. And
Wow.
we talked to him for a bit. Like, hey, get your head on straight. Like, if you're going to come out, please know the regulations in the area that you're coming to. It's just...
Sorry to say, report a poacher, report a poacher, report a poacher. I know some people are fans of the system, some aren't, but get them reported, man.
Well, you can, and you can get a little cash reporting it too. You know, I have a lot of conversations with them out there, and they are constantly giving me their business cards saying, please help us. You know, they're so short-staffed. So
yeah, free fishing gear.
Exactly.
Out west. That's what I go.
Well, we're a little bit over time. Chelsey, thank you so much for joining the show. This has just been an absolute blast. Great way to start the month.
Yeah.
Where can people check you out or follow you? I know we've talked about some of the places, but just remind everybody.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, Chelsey_Nicole86. Follow me on the Women's Fishing Network on Instagram as well. So yeah.
Amazing, Mitch.
Northwest Mitch on Instagram, Mitchell Lilly on Facebook till maybe I get my stuff figured out.
It's still in the works then, correct?
I don't know. I'm probably just going to give up and redo everything. So
you're not a quitter, my friend. You tell those robots how it's done.
Yeah, I'll just go and just start punching robots. That's what I do.
Done deal. Well, thanks again, Andrew over at Canadian Fishing Outfitters. Chelsey, come get your shirt. I won't throw it over my shoulder like I do my high-vis line. It's there. Next week's guest, Lisa Roper. I cannot wait. And you know why I can't wait, Mitch?
Why?
I cannot wait to tell Lisa that Chelsey says she is a better shot than she is. Everyone, we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Oh, it's coming. Save it for the after show. We'll see you next week with our special guest, Lisa Roper. Everyone have a great week.
See you guys.